Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Our Voice 360, Our Perspectives, Our Ways. I'm one half of the podcast crew here, Chad Bumgarner. I have with me my right hand man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
Hey, Pete, let's go ahead and get into it, man.
And as always, our podcast is brought to you by CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading?
And also, folks, if there is a topic or something you want to have us talk about or discuss, you want to hear our insight on it. And also, if you know of some ways that we can make the listening and viewing pleasure for you better, please do not hesitate to contact us at our email address at ourvoice360@gmail.com. That's ourvoice360 at gmail.com. And also, folks, please, we're trying to still hit 1,000 subscribers at least by the end of this year. So if you would do us a solid and just smash the like button and subscribe and share the channel with family and friends, man, because we are really trying to be picky about the topics we bring up to the table for, our people to be informed and enlightened about things that you need to address with your family at the table. Sit down and discuss, make yourself aware, because things are going on and we do need to be aware of it. So that's what we're trying to do here, and also add a little bit of humor and laughter and entertainment as well. So again, people, please subscribe, like, and share the channel, if you will, out there on YouTube and other platforms as well. All right, two big heaters today, man. Pete, we were talking quite a bit off air about them. The first one is I'm really excited about this because this topic, I guess, hits home to me. The FDA approves cure for sickle cell disease, the first treatment to use gene editing tool CRISPR, CRISPR. I think that's how you pronounce it. So we're going to dive into that and talk a little bit more about that. And I have a relative, at least one that I know of, that struggles with this. So this is really welcoming and good news, especially for the Black community, because I think we suffer from this more than any other group of people. So you really want to tune into this,
by far,
and hear about the strides and of the positive things that they're making for sickle cell. The next big article or topic that we're talking about is NASA and how they are giving a $12 million initiative to 7 or 8 HBCUs to empower the next generation of STEM innovators. So this is really exciting news. This is definitely, or obviously, in the science and engineering sector, giving us money, finances, resources, and opportunities to be represented in this aspect, or this, technology, if you will, because we've always been great. We just don't get an opportunity to showcase this. Another, speaking of NASA and the important contributions we've given, is the movie that came out years ago with the Black women who worked in the NASA department. What was the name of that movie, Pete? It was on the tip of my tongue. I know I put you on the spot. I'm sorry. I had it when I was talking about it, and I doggone forgot about it. But Taraji P. Henson was in there, and Olivia, the Academy Award winner from The Help, she was in there, and very, very good movie. Hidden Figures. There you go. Yeah, Hidden Figures. Yes. Yeah. So just saying, man, you give us money, resources, and opportunity, aka level the playing field, and we'll represent every time. We definitely will. So those are the two topics. And then, of course, we're going to have the book of the week, the album, and the inventor, and the Bible verse, all that good stuff. All right. So, Pete, let's get into it, man. So let's talk about this, man. So the FDA approves a cure for sickle cell disease. This is the first treatment to use gene editing, not software, but gene editing tool. Named CRISPR to make this happen. And so Food and Drug Administration on Friday, this article came out on the 8th, they approved a powerful treatment for sickle cell disease, a devastating illness that affects more than 100,000 Americans, the majority of whom are Black. The therapy called, I can't pronounce it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, it's CASGEVY, Casgevy, I guess, from Vertex Pharmaceuticals and CRISPR Therapeutics, is the first medicine to be approved in the United States that uses the gene editing tool CRISPR, which won its inventors the Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 2020. the chief of the Division of Hematology at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, Dr. Alexis Thompson, says this is a pivotal moment in the field. It's been really remarkable how quickly we went from the actual discovery of CRISPR, the awarding of the Nobel Prize, and now actually seeing it being an approved product. Until now, the only cure for sickle cell was a bone marrow transplant from a donor, which carried the risk of rejection by the immune system, in addition to difficult process of finding a matched donor. That was the hard part. You know, when you had sickle cell, you had to reach out to family and friends and then hope and pray that somebody would be, loving enough or brave enough to do the bone marrow transplant. From my understanding, it's kind of painful. So for somebody to be to be able to go through that for another loved one, that's a lot. So that was the cure before.
And then on top of that, Chad, as the old folks say, not only that, it had to, as the old folks say, it had to take hold. You know what I'm saying? The bone marrow had to take hold in the body and not be rejected by your body, because essentially to your body, that's a foreign entity that's entering your body. So your body goes into protect mode, and it may not, that bone marrow may not transfer from the donor's body to your body without it affecting your body, in an adverse way.
And that's the cool thing about this product that's been approved, Casgevy. It's number one, it's approved for people 12 years of age and older. So that's good. So we can get it early. And it also removes the need for a donor. So you don't need a donor with this new approved process or procedure. Using CRISPR, it edits the DNA found in the patient's stem cells to remove the gene that causes the disease. So in essence, the patient is their own donor. It's a game changer.
Right. Yeah. So because it's changing the DNA, and so it's going to spread throughout all your blood cells. You see what I'm saying? So yeah.
So then it spreads and replicates, I guess. That's how it's getting rid of the sickle cell. Because for those of you who don't know, sickle cell, your blood cells are shaped in the shape of a sickle. If you've ever seen a sickle, go to Google and pull up images of a sickle. Your blood cells are shaped in the shape abnormally in the shape of a sickle. And I'm not going to get into all the specifics. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just giving you the 20,000 foot view. And this new process, the gene editing tool CRISPR, allows, again, the patient to be its own donor. And the Casgevy piece, which was approved, it edits the DNA, and then once it edited, it causes the replication, and then it eventually cures the blood cells shaped in the form of a sickle. So this is really cool. Like I said, I have a relative that I don't know if she knows about this, but I'm definitely sending her the article, her and her parents, because she's in her 20s. So I know this is welcoming news, not only for her, but for a lot of people, because this is majority African Americans that suffer from this. I don't know of too many other ethnicities that suffer from this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this is huge for the Black community. Because again, I would venture to say, I don't know the exact number, but Chad, I would say at least 80% or more of cases would probably be in the Black community.
Yeah.
I mean, because this is a very specific disease. For whatever reason, it's a very specific disease to Black people. And not only does it, it affects the body in certain ways, and you already have a blood disorder, but different things can trigger the sickle cell trait. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's a very, very common disease in the Black community, and a disease that's a crippling disease to the Black people who get it.
Well, and true. Let me be true. Let me be honest. That is true. But I want to give also, Pete, the full picture of this breaking news, which is good news.
Oh yes, for sure.
Now the challenge piece is, of course, with the medicine or the procedure, is the price. Because the therapy is The therapy is extremely expensive. It's like $2.2 million per patient, Vertex said. The pricing strategy, experts argue, may place it out of reach for many families, for a lot of families, if not all.
Right.
Don't know too many Black average families that can afford $2.2 million, for this.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't include the cost of care associated with the treatment, like staying in the hospital or, chemotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
So they really have to make sure or figure out how to make this thing affordable and accessible, because this could be an equalizer for people with sickle cell, because many patients cannot pursue career options because of this illness.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's just, but like anything new, Chad, the price tag is going to be super expensive. It's going to be super expensive. And it even with positive news, it always seems there's a drawback on the back end. As great as this is, as great as this news is, on the flip side, $2.2 million per patient. That's a lot of money. And if you got it, if you have it, congratulations.
Well, that's like I said, the average,
yeah.
let me be clear, the average Black household,
right?
They don't even have that in savings or 401 or stocks. So if you combine them, you know what I'm saying? But it's very disheartening. It's kind of bittersweet. On one end, we're happy that we have a cure, but then at the other end, it's like it's doggone near impossible to get the treatment to save your loved one at right now, anyway. Unless they figure out how to, make this more affordable and accessible to the people who need it. But like you and I talked off air, the money's not in the cure; it's in the medicine.
It's in the medicine.
And if this was medicine that helped minimize the detection of sickle cell and ease the pain, then of course, it'll be more affordable because everybody can pay for it and they can make their money. But because this is a cure, it's like, oh crap, they found the cure. So if we're gonna put the cure out there, we're gonna put a high dollar price tag on it. You're gonna have to reach real high.
Yeah, what I'm saying? It's gonna be a hefty price to pay
to get cured of this. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a journey. It's good news. I'm not gonna deny that it's good news.
Yeah, fantastic news. Fantastic news.
But it's still gonna be quite the journey to get it to where that average families can afford it. Not necessarily out of pocket, but at least with the help of insurance.
Yeah, sometimes
you know what I mean.
Insurance.
Yeah. So big deal on that. Wanted to shout that out. I don't know if they talked about. Well, no, I didn't see anything in the article. I don't think they're in, because I was thinking about side effects and I
they didn't get into any kind of side effects or anything like that.
Well, I looked at some other articles on this cure, and and like you said, I hadn't seen anything about side effects, so that's even a bigger plus. We got a cure, and to the best of our knowledge, ladies and gentlemen, do not quote us on that, but I haven't researched any side effects to the cure, which is awesome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you got medicines, they'll alleviate one issue, but then you got side effects of,
and 3 of your toes fall off.
Right. Oily discharge.
But you don't have COPD no more.
Suicidal thoughts. And I'm like,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So I don't have anxiety, but I'm thinking about killing myself.
I mean, for real, that's what we do.
Yeah, man. So, big shouts out to that. Anything else you want to talk about on this one, Pete?
Yeah, just to piggy back on you, Chad. It's just fantastic news. Fantastic news, and I hope that they can get to a reasonable price point for this, because again, as we talked about off air, and Chris Rock famously quoted, the cure is in the money's in the medicine, not the cure. So maybe that's why this is such a hefty price tag, because this seems to be a cure for sickle cell and not something and not a Band-Aid
right for
sickle cell. So hopefully they'll work something out in the near future, you know, as these trials and things of that sort go along, where they can make this affordable for families.
I agree. And the cool thing about it is from my understanding, it's a one-time treatment. So it's not like chemotherapy where you got to keep going back and going back and getting weak and hair falling out. It's a one-time treatment, which is really cool.
Right.
Really cool. Cool. But that's it, guys. Sickle cell disease, looks like we got you in the headlock, buddy. Now we just got to get these prices together so that, you know, we can be able to afford it for our children and you know, the adults as well who struggle with this. So shouts out to them for this groundbreaking medicine and approval. Finally something the FDA did that I can get with. Finally. All right, moving on to our next topic here, folks. NASA is putting their money where their mouth is. Yet again. NASA aims to empower the next generation of STEM innovators at HBCUs with $12 million donation. That's right, folks. NASA is giving a $12 million initiative, or setting up a $12 million initiative for several HBCUs. This is awesome, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, huge news. Huge news.
Coming from an HBCU, NC A&T, North Carolina A&T, where engineering is huge, is the pinnacle of our school. This is awesome. NASA is on a mission to empower the next generation throughout the country. Actually, research shows 25% of Black scholars who earn STEM degrees are HBCU graduates. However, the space exploration field is still grappling with the underrepresentation. Out of 350 astronauts who have traversed to space, guess how many were African American out of those 350? Pete, I'm gonna give you a guess. I'm gonna give you two. I'm gonna give you two guesses. Go ahead.
I think if I'm not mistaken, 15.
Yep, hit the nail on the head. 15 African American astronauts out of 350.
Wow.
Yeah. So, aware of the gaps in the accessibility to STEM education, the government agency has awarded $11.7 million to 8 HBCUs through its Data Science, Equity, Access, and Priority in Research and Education Initiative. DEAP, D-E-A-P, that's what they call it. The funding will support the creation of curriculums and immersive learning experiences that are centered on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, the goal here is to elevate and expand STEM programs to create a pipeline of talent for data-intensive, space-based earth sciences careers. Jesus. So I know everybody's asking, well, what are the schools? I'm going to give you the list of the schools. All right. So among the institutions that receive the endowments are Bethune-Cookman University, Morgan State University, North Carolina Central University, Florida A&M University, Fayetteville State University, Prairie View A&M University, Lincoln University, and my alma mater, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. Those are the schools that are splitting up the $12 million. So
wow,
go ahead.
That's a lot. That's a lot of North Carolina schools. I know we.
You know that, yeah.
We're North Carolina guys, so yeah,
yes,
that's good. It's good to hear that some our state is getting our HBCUs are getting some of this revenue.
And I believe North Carolina has the most HBCUs. I think we have the most HBCUs in the state. It's either us or Georgia.
I guess say let's count them out. Well, Winston-Salem State, A&T, Central, Fayetteville State, Shaw,
St. Aug.
Yeah, St. Augustine.
That's 6 right there.
Yeah,
and you got
6.
Elizabeth City.
Yeah,
Elizabeth City State.
Elizabeth State.
Yeah, that's 7 right there.
Yeah. So
yeah, that we can think of. Yeah, I think we got a pretty good amount because I know here in Georgia you got Clark Atlanta, you got Morris Brown, you got Spelman, you got Morehouse. That's 4. And I want to say it's one more. It's either 4 or 5. I don't think it's any more than that. 4 or 5. Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
we
man,
got 7. Yeah.
yeah. So NASA is really showing love to the HBCUs, and it's well earned
It is.
because
It's not a given thing. These schools have shown promise and
right.
progress in there. So
Yeah, because institutions of that ilk just don't throw money around to universities,
that's true.
especially HBCUs.
Mm-hmm.
So for NASA to give this endowment or give this program or these programs this type of money, it is a big thing. And I hopefully this is just the start of something
Mm-hmm.
major between between the HBCUs
And
and
NASA.
NASA.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree. It's like what I just said not too long ago when I was reading some of the articles. Like the goal is to elevate and expand the STEM
Mm-hmm.
program. They want to create a pipeline for
Right.
data intensive, space based earth sciences careers. That's
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing. They are investing in us to create a pipeline
Right.
of
Right.
the best talent or the best minds when it comes to earth sciences and things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature. What better place to work?
Exactly. This is just a huge shot in the arm for these particular HBCUs and HBCUs across the board, because again, if these universities are successful, guess what? That's just going to expand the
Mm-hmm.
territory. It's going to expand and it's going to enlarge the territory, and more money is going to be funneled into HBCUs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The NASA's deputy commissioner Melroy, excuse me, she said the effort will be instrumental in diversifying the industry, and that's a big concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
They want to make progress through awards like the initiative that they're doing
Mm-hmm.
to intentionally build the STEM pipeline of the future, especially in communities of color.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? When I was doing a lot of leadership development and coaching, talking to people about, being in leadership for the first time, whether you
Mm-hmm.
inherit a team or whether you're building a team,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want a bunch of the same like-minded people. You don't want that.
Right. Right.
You want people from different backgrounds, different experiences, different ways of
Mm-hmm.
life, because when you are sitting in a boardroom and you're trying to tackle tough situations,
Mm-hmm.
you want to look at that situation from a 360-degree view
Right.
and not a 180 or a 45. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Right.
want to look at it from all angles so you can then sit down and figure out what's the best solution.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do that with like-minded people. You can't do that with yes people. That's going to tell you what you think. Whatever you say, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have to think through the process and then what is the outcome going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When we make this
sir.
decision as a board, what does success look like for us? And then what does the fallout look like for us?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yes, sir.
are we able to handle that success and that fallout?
Mm-hmm.
If we're not, then we need to put plans in place, because if we push through with this and A, B, or C happens, we got to be prepared for A, B, and C.
Right. Exactly right.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So you can only be as strong as the people around you, and the people around you have to be multi-versed, multi-ethnic, different ways of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
the whole nine. You even want somebody in there that you may not agree with at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because at least
Mm-hmm.
they keep you on your toes, because they're going to challenge what you're saying and why you're saying it. And you
Exactly.
don't want that, but you need that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's only going to make you better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do it in the boardroom or with my team where we can go back and forth and hash it out than to be out in the public and to get called on it, and now you're flat-footed and you have no response.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So just a little tidbit out there. I mean, a diverse community, a diverse staff, it's all the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely valued. And there's been statistics that prove that people who work in a diverse environment or have a diverse, board team or whatever it is, if it's diverse, their success rate is a lot higher than a boardroom of people who look and sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So
yeah,
there's value in multi. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Multi.
I mean, diverse.
Diversity. There's value in
there it is.
diversity. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Value and
There
diversity.
is value in diversity, people. And I mean,
yeah.
with us being here in America and we're supposed to be, you know, a melting pot, then it's inevitable. In order to be successful, you're going to have some diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, period.
And this program is a big step towards, you know, that type of diversity. Because again, like I said earlier, institutions such as NASA and other government entities just don't throw money around to HBCUs. That's just not, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
They're getting a hard enough time getting money from their state. So
exactly. So even though this 12 million is spread between what is it, 7 schools, 8 schools?
Yeah, 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8 schools. I mean, you know, it doesn't look like a lot of money, but being spread through that many schools. But at the end of the day, you have to start somewhere.
That's right.
And if this is the starting point, it is the starting point. So again, I have the utmost faith and confidence in each one of these HBCUs that the money that is given to them will be used properly and they will be successful. And in their success, other HBCUs will be championed. Other HBCUs will get this type of funding, maybe not from NASA, but from some other government entity that is willing to invest into their institution.
Yeah, because now I'm looking for the Department of Agriculture, the United States Department of Agriculture, to start looking at these schools, the A&M schools, because the A stands for agriculture. So all of the HBCUs that have the A in their names, the Department of Agriculture should be reaching out with them, partnering with them. They should be having a what did he call it? A pipeline.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, getting the best and brightest minds that help our country in the agriculture department. How do we get better? How do we get more efficient? How do we feed our country?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So hopefully, like you said, maybe this will open the eyes up for the government, for other entities, the agriculture, and this one right here was STEM, engineering. Maybe we can get another one for, like I said, agriculture. We get another one for business. There are a lot of Fortune 500 companies. I remember a while back, not to go off on tangent, but there was a CEO that was saying there was a lack of talent out there, and it was like, and one person, one of the not recruiters, but one of the reporters said, "Well, how many of you big time companies have reached out to HBCUs and set up not necessarily workshops, but come there to talk to kids to, you know, recruit them?"
Right.
There's plenty of talent there. Y'all overlooking. It's talent out there.
Of course.
You're just looking at the same avenues. You're not opening up, you know, the floodgates. So hopefully that will start an initiative with the IBMs and the Microsofts to start, you know, hitting up these HBCUs and like, hey, we're looking for, you know, the biggest and best talent, you know, in tech.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we've got the talent. Y'all just ain't looking.
You just not tapping into it.
And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, and then once you tap into something new, it's going to be fruitful. And these HBCUs are going to show and prove that, you know, our communities and our schools are just as valuable as the PWIs.
That's it.
I mean, our HBCUs are just as valuable as any PWI in this country. So again, this is such a monumental moment for HBCUs.
It is. And when we get into the inventor, I'm gonna give you the latest spotlight of how great we are coming from an HBCU. But we'll tap into that in a minute. Pete, anything else on the NASA?
I just hope these and pray that these HBCUs get as much as they possibly can from this first initiative with NASA, that it spreads through all of the HBCUs in this country. That this is maybe the first step or second step or third step to something greater for our HBCUs.
Agreed. There's also, and I know we didn't talk about it today, but there's also an initiative to start same kind of thing, but in a different industry, and we're talking golf. So now there's an initiative. I need to send you the article too. I don't know of the entity that's doing it, but they're trying to start an initiative to start golf in all of the HBCUs since the initial one at Howard, I think it was, took off so well. Yeah, with Steph Curry. Yeah. So there's an initiative now to make that a staple in all the HBCUs, which I think is an awesome opportunity.
Which is fantastic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Another pipeline, if you will.
There you go. There you go.
So, all right. With that being said, folks, we're going to move into our book of the week. Pete has our book of the week. Go ahead, Pete. Take it away.
Well, we have another heavy hitter this week. The book of the week is called Dirt Don't Burn. Yeah.
Oh.
Dirt. Yeah. Dirt Don't Burn. And it's by Larry Roeder and Barry Harrelson. And basically, this book is about educational segregation in a small town, and the small town is called Loudoun County, Virginia.
Okay.
Back in the early 1900s, where basically it was educational segregation. They couldn't get any resources to their community for education purposes until, of course, Brown v. Board of Education. And it basically is showing how deprived they were of education in this town, and how through steps, many years and different steps that they had to take through government and other entities to finally educate the Black people, not only in that town, but in that entire community, in that surrounding area. So it's a really good book about how this town triumphed over something that was just boot on their neck. And in this case, it was educational segregation.
Wow.
They had no resources, educational resources at all. And it took years and years and years for them to finally triumph over that and get the educational resources that they needed to teach their Black babies. And it's just, and Chad, it's hard to believe that our people struggled like that during this time. But time and time again, people are starting to research these communities and seeing how hard this struggle was, which we already knew the struggle was almost insurmountable.
Right.
To be honest. But to have these different individual stories and these different individual communities, actually their stories being told, is such a great history lesson that not just Black folk, but everybody needs to tap into.
Right.
Because a lot of people out here don't really didn't think these things happen.
True.
They really don't think,
and they think it's long ago, and it's really not that long ago.
It's really not that long ago. We're talking less than 100 years ago. I mean, you see what I'm saying? So again, I just think it's great that these people are going out of their way to research these different little towns and communities and finding out that, we talk about bigger cities and their struggles and stuff like that. But there were also smaller towns and smaller cities and communities that were having an even rougher time than normal. And this is one of the cases in this book called Dirt Don't Burn. And just I would ask anybody to, if you really want to know about some real Black American history, then this is the book for you, and it is definitely worth reading. Wow! I'll give you that title again: "Dirt Don't Burn" by Larry Roeder and Barry Harrelson.
We always seem to find a way to rise above the circumstance, the situation.
Yes, sir.
But I think a lot of us are getting tired of doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're getting tired of just, it's like a constant having to prove yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like we're the only ones that have to keep doing it.
Yep. And then, but that's so great about what we were talking about on the beginning of our podcast, Chad. Even with terrible situations like this that we had to go through and we had to overcome, then we have a situation with NASA and our HBCUs, or we have now it looks like a cure for sickle cell that's going to help our people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for the things that we went through as a people, there are some good things that's happening to us.
Right.
That's it's not even yet. It's going to take a long time to get even for what we went through,
if ever. Yeah.
Exactly, if ever. But we do have some positive things that we can look at
and build on.
And build upon. And even in this book, at the end of the book, there were positive things to build on after our people went through what we went through.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we are the most resilient people on this planet, and it's not close. And it's not close. So again, our people struggled for a long, many hundreds of years, and there's a small light at the end of the tunnel, very small light, but we can see some light.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I with the things that we've gone through with the people as a people, there are some positive things that we can glean on to, even in a down state that can uplift our spirits.
I agree. And that's really all we can do is just take the positive that we got and keep building on it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That's really all we can do. That's really all we can do. And just hope for everybody to do their part.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wishful thinking, but all we can, like I said, all we can do is what we can do.
Look, what did it say? My father told me this a long time. You control what you can control.
Yep.
That's your responsibility, is to control what you can control. So that's how we have to look at it. And like I said, it's just, we are the most resilient people to grace this earth, and we're going to continue to be resilient.
Yes, we are. You can count on that. You can count on that. That
yes,
is a
sir.
Pattern for
yes,
us
sir.
as a people, time and time again.
Yes, sir.
Always bet on black. And then what Wesley Snipes said.
That's what Wesley said.
He said, always bet on black.
No true words have been spoken. Whether it was fiction or nonfiction. Always bet on black.
Dirt Don't Burn, ladies and gentlemen. Who's it by again? What's the author's name?
Larry Roeder and Barry Harrelson.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Dirt Don't Burn.
All right, folks, another one to pick up to add to your collection.
Mm-hmm.
Add to your collection. All right, we're gonna move on to the album of the week. Pete and I had a discussion on this one off air. He just it just didn't sit right with my spirit. Let's just say that. Me personally, this is Chad's thoughts and opinions, views only. Don't blame this on the show. This is me. I happen to believe this is one of the best singing groups of all time.
Okay.
I didn't say I said one of the. And my criteria for rating them one of the, because let me say that, because there'll be what make you say, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
When I say that, I'm including lyrics, and I'm including harmony, vocal ability, and difficulty in arrangements. Okay. So with that being said, the album of the week, I picked the album of the week this week. And it is Boyz II Men's album 2. Okay. It also happens to be on the top 500 albums of all time on the Rolling Stones website. Not that gives any validation. It's just a bullet point I'm throwing out there. I don't like how they rated them. They rated the album at 495 out of 500, but I digress.
It's Rolling
I don't know.
Stone.
Yeah, I don't know what that criteria is for that. So
yeah.
But nonetheless, the album was put out. It was released in on August 30th of 1994. All right. So the songs on the album are Thank You. Basically, it's a song giving thanks to the fans for the first album they made, which blew up big time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the first song on 2 was Thank You. And then there was All Around the World, You Know, Vibin', I Sit Away, Jezebel. And then they had it's called Khalil Interlude. Khalil was, I think, one of their managers or bodyguards or something like that, very close to the team that was killed. So that interlude was to his honor or whatever. It was only like a minute and a half or whatever. It was real nice. Trying Times, and then the songs everybody may know if you're not really Boyz II Men fans. I'll Make Love to You was on this album. That was a huge
hit.
Huge hit. And then On Bended Knee, 50 Candles, very seductive. That's kind of like it was a newer model of a ooh ah off the first album.
Off the first album, okay.
Pete, you gotta listen to 50 Candles. At least give it a shot.
Okay. We'll get to
And
go ahead,
then
keep going.
Water Runs Dry. That's where Sean really showcased himself. And then you got Yesterday, the other huge hit with them, where they took the rendition from the Beatles and flipped it and remixed it and smacked it and rubbed it down and made it huge.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's those are all the songs that are on the 2 album. Like I said, the biggest songs on that album was I'll Make Love to You and On Bended Knee and Water Runs Dry. Those were the 3 biggest hits on that entire album that everybody would know about. So Pete and I had it wasn't a tiff. It was just an agree to disagree. Pete was like not really feeling Boyz II Men. I mean, he was like, first album was dope, but if I didn't hear anything after that, I'd have been good. And I'm like,
exactly,
blasphemy! How dare you? You know what I'm saying? So we got in.
Okay, before
go ahead.
You start disrespecting me, brother, and throwing dirt on my name.
Hold on. Who's that? You gonna put some respect on my name? Who's that? Baby? Yeah, that was Baby, wasn't it?
Yeah, Baby.
Yeah, okay, Baby, go ahead.
But no, me and Chad were talking off air, and basically I was saying that Boyz II Men, they all right. I mean, but again, the first album to me was phenomenal. Enjoyed the first album. First album was great, and I would agree with Chad. Boyz II Men arguably is one of the greatest groups to ever pick up a microphone. I'm not denying that at all, because they're phenomenal. Great singers, great talents, all of that. They're just not my cup of tea. And like I told Chad, I couldn't, outside of the 3 hits, I couldn't tell you another song on the album because I didn't listen to the album. So again, a classic to some, maybe nothing to others. And to me, it's nothing. I'm just playing.
But Pete, but didn't we describe classic as if you can pick it up 20 years later and play it?
Yeah.
So like if you play I'll Make Love to You right now or On Bended Knee.
Yeah, those 3 songs, yeah. If I pick them up today, sure. But again, Chad, I can't. I'm coming from a place of ignorance because outside of those 3 songs, I never listened to that album.
Right.
And like you said, in the lead up to this, love the first album.
Yes, you did say that. Yes, you did.
Love the first album. But again, I could never heard Boyz II Men again, and I'd have been okay living with that first album.
But tell them why, because we discussed that, and I was able to chew on it. Like that's my word. I was able to chew on that when you gave me that. Go ahead.
And the reason for me is because they became a little too commercial for me.
Yeah, they were too safe.
And, I don't know if safe is the word.
Safe is commercial to me because they didn't take any risks. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
People that take risks with their stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of edgy. It's like, wow, I didn't expect that, but that was dope. You know what I'm saying? They took a risk.
Right.
2 is not a risk.
Yeah, it's like I said, the 3 hits are standard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Great songs. Never not saying the songs are not great.
Can I tell you why they're standard great songs?
Okay.
Because On Bended Knee was Jam and Lewis, and I'll Make Love to You was Babyface.
Okay, there it was. there it is. I mean,
yeah,
the three of the greatest songwriter producers of all time. In R&B music. So again, I can't really speak on this album because I didn't listen to this album. But I do agree that Boyz II Men is a phenomenal group. I mean, you can't take their talent away. You can't take what they did to the culture away, because Boyz II Men, they're still big. I just saw them in the commercial before we started the podcast. It was a Chili's commercial, but they still around.
Right, they still around. Yeah,
they still around doing the thing, and I commend them for that.
At least they wasn't singing about chicken.
Dude, Lord have mercy, I know, right? But for me, it's just a situation where I'm not a huge Boyz II Men fan. Right. I'm not a huge Boyz. After
I had to give Pete a hard time because I'm huge with R&B. So when he said that, I had to dig into him a little bit and just try to see what was behind the curtain when he because I felt a little disrespected when he was talking about my people.
And I heard it. Heard it in your voice, like you want to put your hands on somebody.
Yeah, I was in my feelings a little bit, so I said, let me see where Pete coming from, because I didn't want it to be superficial. I'm like, okay, Pete, come on, you bigger than that. I would expect this from somebody else, but you big. But what he gave me, I was able to, like I say, I was able to chew on. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but
everything
again,
ain't for everybody.
Yeah, everything is not for everybody, and great group. I can't take anything away from Boyz II Men. Not saying I never said I didn't like the group. I didn't like them or anything like that. But it's just their sound. It was such a drastic change of sound, which is fine. You can change your sound, but again, Chad, just like you said, it was like they went from this, and I'm not gonna say gritty because it wasn't gritty at all, but it was just like
they were hungry on the first album.
Yeah, it was a more, what's the word I want to use?
Polished?
No, it wasn't more polished. The second album to me would be more polished.
Well, yeah, the second. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the second.
Yeah. The first album was, our first introduction to them. The songs on there were nowhere. They sounded nothing like the songs on
the second album. Yeah.
On future albums.
On two. Yeah.
On future albums. So I prefer the first album.
Gotcha.
And I could have left it with the first album and been done. And I mean, we had also had this discussion about another popular singer, songwriter person.
Oh yeah, sure did. Yep.
And I mean, he may come up in your classic albums. I don't know, but it's the same thing with me and John Legend. Phenomenal talent. Phenomenal. I don't ever have to hear another John Legend song again in my life. Ever.
Pete, Ordinary People.
And see, that's the reason why I don't want to ever hear another John Legend song, because of that particular song.
You didn't like that one?
The first time I heard it, the second time I heard it, even the third time I heard it. But that 12
it was
million,
so truthful.
That 12,335,000.
So that's not his fault. That's radio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Great song. Enjoy it. Great song. Not taking it. But it's just something, just like I told you off air, Chad. But John Legend, for me, it's not his material changing. It's his voice. I can only take so much of that. I can only take so much of that. And to me, and then it gets to sounding like nails on a chalkboard. To me, personally. But again, different strokes for different folks. Right, and I know we're talking about Boyz II Men. Great first album to me. Didn't listen to the second album outside the hits. So I don't have a lot to say about the second album. Chad loves it. So listen to Chad.
Hey y'all, talk to me in the comments in YouTube. Y'all got to back me up.
Yeah.
Two was a pretty decent album. I mean, it wasn't one of their best, but it was a really classic album. For a lot of people who enjoy listening to Boyz II Men. I particularly like their voices and their arrangements. They have a unique arrangement when it comes to singing that I haven't heard elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? So it was a breath for me as a former musician and singer. I truly appreciate great sounding voices and groups. Like Take Six is another group that I love dearly.
I was getting ready to say that, Chad, if you didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
They are so familiar. They are so similar.
Yeah.
Boys to Men and Take Six.
They studied Take Six. So I can hear some of that homage to Take Six in some of their arrangements. You know what I'm saying? That's how big into, harmony and stuff that I am. So
it's another group that I'm gonna bring. It's on my classic albums list, and I'm not gonna say the name of the group. That also reminds me of Take Six. And when I tell you this album in probably the next month or so in our classic album reviews, you're gonna be like, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, Take Six, and then there's another group that I like called the Manhattan Transfers.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, that's classic right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Manhattan Transfer was the truth.
Those cats right there. Yeah. So when it comes to harmonies and arrangements and stuff, I'm really listening to see who's putting in the work and who's just doing the basic, soprano, alto, tenor, 3-part harmony. Right. I mean, any and everybody, you can train monkeys to do that. But let me see how creative you are with your voices and turning your voices into instruments. Right. And to me, they did an awesome job when they came out of doing it. They were sorely needed. They came out at the right time. They really did, because this was the height of when, not like now where you ain't got to sing. You can sound like anything and be put on the radio. But this is early 90s where you had to sing. We're talking about Boys to Men. We're talking about Jagged Edge. We're talking about Jodeci. Yeah. We're talking about Drew Hill. We're talking about Silk. True. Yeah. Shot. Well, not Shot. But yeah, these groups.
Yeah, that was the same time. Yeah.
One hit wonders.
But yeah, it might be. We ain't talking about hits. We're talking about the actual music on the albums.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
the harmonies was a little basic, but I have a bias with them anyway. No shade to them, but whatever. But I'm just saying, this was a time when you had to sing.
Yeah, you had to sing. Yes, sir.
Nowadays, it ain't like that. They'll throw anything on the radio now. Back then, when you came out, you really had to sing and establish yourself as separate. Right. When you heard a Drew Hill cut, you knew that was Drew Hill. When you heard Jagged Edge, you knew that was J.E. When you heard New Edition, you knew that was New Edition, even though they're better entertainers than singers. They're not really singers, okay? There's a couple of them, but when you heard Boys to Men, you knew it was a Boys to Men track. It's not like today where everybody sounds the same. Everybody was separate, but could blow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yes, sir.
I'll digress on that. But Boys to Men, the 2 album was solid to me. I really think there should have been more hits off of that album. Thank You was dope. It was just some beatboxing with them with harmonies, and they were being creative, saying thank you to the fans. I don't think it'd have been a top 10, but it was definitely nice.
Right.
What was the other one? All Around the World, and those 2 night vibing was a really laid back cut where they were just showcasing their skills, their vocal skills. It was really cool, but I don't know if everybody was ready for that though. But I Sit Away, that was a real nice hit. That was more of Nate taking lead on vocals and everything. I Sit Away. And then Jezebel was cool. Jezebel was real cool. I think that was another one that slipped under the radar, but I could go on, but I think this is a really solid album. 50 Candles, like I said, that was like a part 2 of Ooh Ah, even though arguably Ooh Ah was probably better than 50 Candles. But 50 Candles was really nice, very seductive, laid back, romantic. Chicks would dig that. You know what I'm saying? Dudes, it's nice to put that in your arsenal when you with your girl or whatever. But yeah, this album was very, very, very strong. Very, very strong, in my opinion. Definitely a classic. So we're going to move on. Because Pete, I think we talked more about this off air than we did on air.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're going to move on, y'all, to Inventor of the Week. And the Inventor of the Week, we're talking about this Black woman. She becomes the first doctor to cure cancer in mice using nanoparticles. Okay? We are deep in this thing. We are not one-dimensional. Please believe it. Okay? We're everywhere and doing everything. Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green has become the first person to successfully cure cancer in mice using laser-activated nanoparticles, according to Black Culture News. Unlike traditional cancer treatments, Green's revolutionary and unique nanoparticle technology, which was found to successfully cure cancer after testing on mice within 15 days, does not require any chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery. Drop the mic. No chemotherapy, no radiation, no surgery. She received a $1.1 million grant from the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs to expand her nanoparticle cancer treatment research. Green's interest in cancer came from the witnessing the death of her aunt, Ora Lee, who suffered from cancer, and her uncle, General Lee Smith, who was also diagnosed with cancer and experienced the negative side effects of the chemotherapy treatment. And I know a lot of us may not be dealing with that directly, maybe indirectly with a friend or family member. You know that chemo is very hard on that person.
Yes.
Very hard.
Yes, it is.
From hair dropping to hair falling out, to physical weakness, weight, all of that stuff. It's very hard on a person. She obtained her bachelor's degree in physics and optics from an illustrious HBCU, none other than Alabama A&M University, and later earned her master's of science in physics from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, both of which she received full scholarships for. After earning her degree, she transitioned to the Comprehensive Cancer Center for 5 years and the Department of Pathology for 1 year, according to Afrotech.com. Currently, Green's Ora Lee Smith Cancer Research Foundation, the nonprofit she founded in memory of her aunt, is continuing to fight cancer using laser-activated nanoparticles and focusing on its mission to make cancer treatment accessible, affordable, and effective. She devotes time to helping young Black students as well. Strides in cancer treatments or cures are very important. According to the American Cancer Society in the U.S. alone, there's an estimated 606,520 people that will die from cancer in 2020. This was back in 2020. That equates to 1,660 people dying of cancer each day in 2020. Approximately 69% of people diagnosed with cancer between 2009 and 2015 were alive 5 years after their diagnosis. This is higher than people who were diagnosed with cancer between 1975 and 1977. Between these years, 49 out of 100 people, or 49%, were alive 5 years later. So this sister's laser, which basically shoots directly to the cancer cells with the nanoparticles, and they devour the cancer. So there's no surgery, again, no chemotherapy, none of that.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal, man.
Please, Lord, protect this sister. Because you and I both said off air, the money's not in the cure.
It's in the medicine.
The money's in the medicine.
Yes, sir.
This sister's got a cure for cancer. She's figured out how to kill it.
Yeah, it's so phenomenal that to read about our people contributing so much to this country. And it not only starts with this sister, we can go back hundreds of years with our contributions to this country. But for something as serious as cancer, that each one of us, I'm sure each one of us has a family member or somebody that we know has dealt with with cancer.
Yep.
And for this sister to be able on the forefront of having a possible cure for cancer is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. And again, like you said, Chad, protect the sister at all costs.
Please do.
Because she's on the front line of something that is tremendous and groundbreaking. And I applaud her efforts. I applaud her hard work and being inspired, even with something negative in her life, the death of her aunt,
and
the death
uncle,
of her uncle inspired her to get to where she's at right now. So even in tragedy, there's something positive that can be gleaned from it. And this sister has taken tragedy and brought it to this level of possibly having a cure for cancer. It's absolutely phenomenal. And before I let you go, Chad, let me state this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Man, our people great, man. man, we're the greatest. Our people are the greatest.
Yeah.
Whatever field you want to talk about, we have our hands in it.
Mm-hmm. Our DNA is in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So please stop underestimating our people, because our people are great. Our people are great.
And I remember watching an interview with her years ago. I forgot what show she was on, but she was really fighting to get funding. And I understand why her fight was so big is because she's looking at a cure.
Right.
And these cancer companies that are making this medicine to kind of limp you along, they don't want to see that happen.
Exactly.
So she's David fighting a huge Goliath, if you will, if you want to use that analogy.
Right.
So we really got to keep our eye on this sister, because she's really about to defeat a big giant.
Right.
A big giant, because now you build off of that. If I can take this laser and cure this cancer, what about this other cancer? What about this other cancer? What about pancreatic cancer? What about thoracic cancer? What about, you see what I'm saying? So these cancer companies are looking at this like, yo, if she keeps the snowball going, it's going to get bigger and bigger. And
you messing up the bag.
You messing up the bag big time.
I'm telling you. So yeah, protect this sister at all costs, man.
Please do. Please do. Her name again is Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green. Proud alumni of Alabama A&M University, another HBCU.
Yes, sir.
See, please don't sleep on the school. And you young folks that want to throw your nose up, school is what you get out of it.
That's right.
Don't go to school expecting something to be given to you. You know what I'm saying? Go there to learn and get the most out of your experience and your situation.
Yep.
Make those professors earn that money. Ask your questions. Do your research. Because you got to understand, when you come out of that, you can't sit there and blame the school for everything if you didn't put everything you had into school.
Exactly.
So I need for you guys to understand that you get out of it what you put into it, and that's with anything in life. Anything.
Yes, sir.
So, Dr. Hadiyah-Nicole Green, first person to successfully cure cancer in mice using laser-activated nanoparticles. My God, today. Doggone. And you wonder why you haven't heard anything about this in the major news. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. This is why we bring up stuff. We want you to know about it. Go research it. Go look it up. Figure out how you can get this treatment. If any of your loved ones have cancer, is it available yet? How much is it? What are we looking at? Hell, do a GoFundMe. I don't care. But you know, she has made great strides in cancer treatments, and it's you know, we shouldn't sleep on this.
Exactly.
We definitely should not sleep on this. So that's our inventor of the week. We will now move on to the Bible verse of the week, and this is a good one. It's a well-known one, but it packs a lot of punch, because every time you read it, it has a different meaning, and it has a different I guess a pull, if you will, for me anyway. You know, it's just one of those ones you just read over and over and you just meditate on it. And that's what you have to do with God's word. You have to read it and understand it. How do you apply it to your life today? And then meditate on that thing, you know, throughout the day, bring it back up, keep bringing it up, keep thinking about it, dwelling on it. So with that being said, the verse today comes from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. And it says, for I know, and this is God talking, for I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. He's telling you these are the plans that he has for you. But you got to get in sync with him via devotion and prayer and reading that word, so you can understand what that plan is. You can't just say, well, what's the plan, Lord? I'm down here doing this and that. Are you talking to him every day? And I'm putting myself in that boat too. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not saying y'all need to. I need to do it too. Because the closer you get with your walk in Christ, the more is revealed. You can't ask God for something and you ain't walking with him, you ain't talking with him, you're not praying, you're not meditating, you're not reading his word, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying? So he's saying, for I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. He wants us to be successful. He has a plan for us to be successful. He's got a plan for good and not bad. If you don't equivocate good to success, I don't know what to tell you. Now, everybody's success is different. So don't sit here and listen to the news and mainstream saying in order to be successful, you got to have A, B, and C. Your definition and your view of success is going to be different than Pete's, and it's going to be different than mine. Don't worry about what everybody else's success look like. Just because people have a lot of stuff don't mean they're successful. It don't. It don't. It depends on how you view and how you define success in your life. Some people look at material things, a certain job. I need to be a certain job. I need to have so many kids, or, you know, my 401k need to be $1 million, or, you know what. And then some people say, you know, if I have a great relationship with my wife and kids and my family and my friends, that's success.
Right.
Success. People equivocate success to money and things, and that's not always the case.
True.
Honestly, that's never really the case. But again, it depends on how you define success. So don't lean on anybody else to determine what success is. Your success is what you define it as, and you stand on that. Like my man P said, 10 toes down. You stand on that.
10 toes down.
This is success for me. Period. However you define success, that's what it is for you. So again, Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope.
There it is.
Meditate on that. What is he saying to you? How can you apply that to your life today? Pray about it. Ask for discernment. Help me understand this. And then stay in contact with him. And then in his time, when he feels you ready, he'll reveal whatever it is he needs to reveal to you to help you, you know, keep going on that path. So I'm not preaching. I'm just letting you know. So that's our Bible verse of the day. Pete, anything else before we wrap up, my brother?
As always, man, first of all, love yourself, man, and love those around you, man. Love your neighbors, love your family. Anybody you have beef with, man, squash that today. Squash that today, man. And love on as many people as you possibly can, man. But it first starts with yourself. If you don't love yourself, you can't love others. So love yourself. So love yourself first, so you can have the ability to love others.
No true words have been spoken. And folks, we're going to end the podcast with the famous quote from Marcus Garvey, and it's never forget that intelligence runs the world and ignorance carries the burden. So remove yourself as far as possible from ignorance and seek as far as possible to be intelligent.
There it is.
That's it. That's all I got. Again, folks, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share these videos with friends and family members, whoever you deem will find these valuable and informative. And
we're also, Chad, we're also on all streaming platforms. So
yes,
your Spotify, your iTunes, your Podomatics, your iHeartRadios, anything, all streaming platforms, we are available. Our shows are available.
Yes, just Google, or not Google, but when you get there, just look up Our Voice 360, and you should be able to find us. All right, with that, guys, everybody take care, be blessed, be safe, and we are out.
Peace.